One of the biggest things that we were looking for the Chicago Bears is how they plan on freeing up some cap space. Well, the first domino is falling as Amen Ogbongbemiga, and I know I murdered his name, was just released by the Chicago Bears. It's not really a blockbuster, but it is a signal that the Bears are about to start doing some work. Plus, we have an update on in regards to what's happening with the Bears and the possible move to Indiana. Doesn't seem like it's all for sure yet, so we're going to break that down, plus dive into the mailbag right after this. What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Aaron Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And we got an update. The Chicago Bears have made their first cap casualty cut of the offseason, waiving linebacker Amen Ogbongbemiga on Thursday. Well, they reached him on Thursday, and that was the first one. It saves the Bears only $2.4 million in salary cap savings there. $300,000 of that does convert to dead money as well. So, with that being said, the Chicago Bears was projected to be about $5 million over the salary cap. That goes a long way to cutting that part, at least. That's why this is just a first step in getting the Chicago Bears some much needed cap space and flexibility so they can do some things this offseason. So we'll continue to monitor that, see what happens with that one. But overall, this is the first cut for the Chicago Bears. Many more are probably going to be coming, and this is just the first wave. Well, not really wave, but this is just the first domino to fall in regards to that. But outside of that, let's get into what everybody's talking about, the Chicago Bears and the possible move to Indiana. Now, while this has been reported as the Bears being focused now on the move and building a stadium in Indiana, it's all not done yet. They did not officially announce that that's exactly what they're going to do. There's still a small window open, and the state of Illinois is having a meeting next week to vote on the tax breaks that the Chicago Bears are looking at. Now, with this said, it does seem like the most likely scenario for this is the move to Indiana, being so much as reported as an inevitability that they will be moving to Indiana. But again, even in the Bears release, it does leave a little bit of a window and gap in there for that. The state of Illinois is going to have to really come with it majorly if they're going to want to get that done. And the Bears, this whole saga of the stadium has been all crazy. But like I said, I know the language and the fact that Indiana was ready to foot a major bill in regards to how much money they were willing to put towards the Bears getting a new stadium. And it makes it seem like that's exactly what's going to happen. There's still some space here. There's still some wiggle room with that. Indiana did pass a bill, though, that makes it seem like it's going to be, all the momentum now is with the Bears moving to Indiana. And we'll see if that ends up being the case. The state of Illinois can make one final push there, though, to get this done, to keep the Chicago Bears in Chicago potentially, well, in Arlington Heights, right? But it is still on the table for that. And now it just feels like the state of Illinois is going to have to they're going to have to be the Iceman. They're going to have to make a fourth quarter comeback like the Chicago Bears did many ways. What type of energy would that bring, right, for the Bears and the way that the Bears season is gone? For so many fourth quarter situations for the Bears, if Illinois comes down here in what's considered the very last minute and they get a comeback to get this, we'll see. If not, and if they don't do it, seems like the Bears are fully prepared to move to Northwest Indiana, and it's an unfortunate part of all of that and how this has gone. Seeing the reactions from Bears fans, even from the national media in regards to this, is wild. It's crazy. But hey, the Bears' official statement, like I said, it didn't indicate that that's the only option. Like, that's for sure. Once we hear that the Bears, that's it, then that's it, right? But I do think the Bears are going to get the state of Illinois another opportunity for it, and that's the thing that it seems like. Now, this could be much like, just a formality, that the Bears want to save some face, that they can try to save it for their fan base and give one last appearance of giving the state of Illinois a chance to keep the Chicago Bears locked down, in Illinois. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen there. As it stands right now, it may not happen. It may not happen. And with, $200 million is what Indiana is willing to put forth. And for what it's worth, people are saying that it's crazy that Indiana's putting that forth. Nobody really expected Indiana to come in here and put the full court press on the Chicago Bears in the manner in which they did, but they did. And now the state of Illinois, who's been trying to play hardball with the Chicago Bears in regards to it, now they have to figure out what's going to be next for their franchise and what they're going to do. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Again, I much like you guys, I want the Bears to stay in Illinois. Selfishly, and it just feels right? But this is still a business, and the Bears are going to do whatever is best for them business-wise. They've been in the smallest stadium in the NFL. They're in the oldest stadium in the NFL. They haven't owned their own stadium. And so while some people label it as greed by the McCaskies or whatever else, like, this is just them getting back to what the norm is as far as business around the NFL now. Teams own their own stadium. The Bears have not done that, and the amount of revenue that they've missed out on that. Like, yeah, and people who want to point out and say things like, well, the McCaskies are able to do this because they're not as cash rich as other franchises in XYZ. Well, part of the reason why they're not as cash rich is because they haven't owned their own stadium. They haven't been able to get money from those events and things like that, and they want to do that. I think people forget that the Bears were initially willing to foot a whole $2 billion bill. They just wanted tax breaks, and they couldn't get that. And then the state wanted them to stay on the lakefront. Then, of course, they asked for more money from Illinois, in that case, in some public funding. But, hey, where this shakes out, we don't know, and we shall see. Now, I want to take a step away from narratives and stuff, and I want to talk about actual football, right? And I know a lot of people are talking and focused on the Chicago Bears getting a big-name edge, Maxx Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, all this type of stuff. And I want to be clear here, especially as now the Bears have finally started getting to the point of, starting roster cuts and stuff like that. I want to be very clear here. There's a world in which the Bears don't land any of those guys. There's a big world in which the Chicago Bears just go through a normal free agency and still sign an edge. I'm not saying that they won't get an edge, but it may not be Chubb. It may not be Maxx Crosby. It may not be Trey Hendrickson. They could focus on getting a solid veteran piece in here now and drafting. And I already know there's going to be Bears fans that whine, complain, bitch, and moan if that's what they do and they don't get a name because of all the rumors. And like I keep telling you guys, don't let the rumors become your opinion. Actually go out and try to look at the business. Educate yourself, right? Yes, if the Bears make a big swing, we already know what it indicates. It indicates a move towards being a legit Super Bowl contender, and we all love that. But that's not the only route to get there. But when you look at some of the edges in this draft, it can make some sense. So I want to be clear here. I would love for the Chicago Bears to make that type of swing and to make that move as long as it financially makes sense, right? But I think overall you have to look at this. There's a number of edges in the draft that I could see Ryan Poles going after to keep costs down because he has to get ready for Caleb Williams' extension. He may not want to waive or cut some of these players that actually can help us also get to a place. He may go board there. Then you look at it too. A lot of teams are going to be after Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson if they're legitimately available, and that could start a bidding war. And the Chicago Bears, because of their cap situation, aren't prepared to go for a bidding war for a guy like that with everything they have coming up this season and next season. They're just not in a position to do that. And while some more knee-jerky Bears fans will take that as the Bears not being serious and they'll be ready to bash Ryan Poles again and all that type of stuff, no, it's business. And you have to do that. You have to think about those things. Us as fans can get caught up in the now. Front offices and organizations cannot afford to get caught up in just the now. They have to look at the entirety of everything and what that sets up for their franchise now and in the future. That's the way that you get stuff done. That's the way that you build something sustainable. And that's what the Bears are going to do. And so I said I was going to talk about this, and I want to be clear here. There is a huge place in that's not going to happen. And the Bears are not going to make the huge deal that some Bears fans want to see them make, and it may just not be coming. And that's perfectly fine as long as you improve the team. And that needs to be the focus here. Actually improve. You don't have to make the swing on the biggest names to improve your team. You don't have to do that. This ain't Madden. It's not about signing just the 5-star guys. That's the only way to legitimately improve. It's just not. And so I just want Bears fans to start preparing that if it does not come. Now, if it does, we'll celebrate it. We'll be great. All that type of stuff. But I want Bears fans to be clear here. There's a world in which that's not the route that they go, and it doesn't mean that that's the wrong route if that's not the route that they go as well. And I just wanted to point that out. Last bit of news, Jeff King has now been promoted to assistant general manager, filling the void that was left by Ian Cunningham. King was considered the favorite to land this job. Anyway, he's been with the scouting team. He was a scouting intern in 2015, worked his way all the way up through the organization. And you like to see guys like this. I know not a lot of people may know Jeff King's name, but Jeff King, who's only 43 as well, he was considered the favorite to get Ian Cunningham. And now he's going to be the right-hand man of Ryan Poles. And this is a guy that, again, he's worked his way up. Scouting intern, then being as a scout from 2016 and 19, assistant director of pro scouting in 2019 and 2021, director of pro scouting from 2021 and 22, co-director of player personnel in 22 and 24, and then last year he was director of player personnel from 2024 to 2025. This is a nice progression for this young man. And hopefully he thrives in that role. He's trusted in the organization. He knows and understands these players, and he's been in those rooms before. And that's kind of the way that we thought Ryan Poles was going to go with it. But when you get into the quote from him, he said this: "I'm honored to be able to continue representing the Chicago Bears organization. I'm thankful to and appreciative of George H. McCaskey, the McCaskey family, Kevin Warren, and Ryan Poles for the trust and belief in me. This is a special organization, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to grow and develop here. Starting as an intern, I look forward to continue to help build our team as we work towards a collective pursuit of sustained excellence." Love hearing that. Great quote. Now let's go out there and see what Jeff King can do. But it is Friday. That means it is Mailbag Day. Let's get into these voicemails, man. This one's from Keys.
What's the deal, fellas? It's your boy Keys, man. Hope all is well with you guys. With that being said, let's get to it. So I know everybody's going to make something out of, Caleb Williams going on the show with Maxx Crosby and, trying to connect the dots and, the trade talks, this and that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm getting the same sentiments or same thought process when we were talking about Caleb and Justin, and I'm over it. I'm just gonna be honest with you, like, bro, season just ended. What was that? 4 weeks, 5 weeks ago? However long it was. Calm down, y'all. Everything that we see, we don't have to entertain per se. Now, would it be nice to have Maxx Crosby on the team? Hell yeah, it'd be nice to have. Do I think the realistic thing of us getting them is going to happen? Probably not. It's like revisiting the situation with Mike Parsons. This comes up every year where certain players are connected to the Bears, and then in reality, we don't really get them. That trade, that first and fifth, if it's possible and we can get them, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Swap the salaries, all that stuff. But if we don't get them, guess what? This draft that's coming up is filled with edge rushers who can get to the quarterback just like Maxx Crosby, Myles Garrett. Now, I'm not comparing these guys to them, but I'm saying they can make plays and make sacks. That's what we need. We were first in turnovers, but we didn't have anything to help. Like, we didn't, it didn't resonate with sacks and all that stuff like that. So we need more of those. And my mindset, just looking at the Seahawks and the Rams, two teams I follow because they got really good defenses to me. I'm at that mindset of let's keep building. Let's keep going. And I know everybody want to trade DJ. Everybody want to do that. Look, man, he makes a lot of money. A lot of these motherfuckers gonna make a lot of money. And that's how the game goes, bro. Sometimes it's gonna happen like that, And he, at that point in time when he got his contract, he was worth every dollar. So I'm like this: in order to build our trenches, and then we got to think about, we got to pay Donnell right, and then we're gonna have to pay Caleb. I have to pay Rome. Guys gonna get paid. Keep building your trenches. Keep doing like the Rams and Seahawks have done. Let's go get a D tackle. That's what the fuck we need. Dayo, waste of money. Brady, love him, but veteran presence. But as always, let me know what you think. Shout out up, bear down.
The Maxx Crosby thing, I get it. Fans are going to want to focus on it. Fans are going to obsess over it. Every little micro action and things like that, fans are going to obsess over what that means for him potentially coming to the Chicago Bears. And like I said, in watching that podcast, I talked about on yesterday's show, what I got from it is two guys that have a mutual respect for each other. That does not mean that Maxx Crosby may not want to come here, but it's going to take a lot more than that just to get Maxx Crosby in a Chicago Bears uniform to where it makes sense for this team, right? And so people are going to get excited about it. They're going to read into it, and who am I as a fan as well to tell them not to get excited about it, not to read into it? They should. That's what the offseason is about. It's about all the possibilities that are in front of you. Now, we'll be met with some realities here sooner rather than later, and I don't think that ends up with Maxx Crosby being in a Bears uniform. I'm just going to place it right here. Maxx Crosby is probably not going to be a Chicago Bear, but if he does, great. But there's a lot of work that the Bears can still do without going after names like that. And, like I said, fans are going to get their expectations up, get their hopes up, and then when that doesn't happen, they're going to lash out. I know how this is going to go. We all know how this is going to go. We've been Bears fans. We've been in this community. We've seen how these fans can do, and that's just the reality of it. You just got to deal with it, and that's just the thing of it. We just got to deal with it because the fans are going to fan. They're going to do what they're going to do, and there's nothing that we can do to stop them or to rationalize them because they're excited. And I'll say this. I feel happy that people are once again excited about this team. I really, really am. And so now let's see what the next step is. All right, let's get into this next voicemail, man. This one's from Xavier.
What's going on, guys? This is Xavier calling in, man. And, I just want to speak on the free agents that we could possibly go after. I noticed that everybody's looking at the Maxx Crosby trade, which is I think it'll be too expensive for us. I don't think that will happen. The Trey Hendrickson signing, it depends on the type of money that he wants. So we might not be able to match what other teams are willing to give him. But I was looking at more cost-effective options, like for instance, Bradley Chubb will be out on the market. I'm not saying that I think his best days are behind him, but I do feel like that he is still a pretty good rusher. I mean, he had 8.5 sacks. He was the only player on the Dolphins defensive line causing any disruptions this past season. So that's not bad. Having Montez Sweat on the other side, I think it'll up his production because they'll have someone else on the line with him to possibly get more pressure and get back to double-digit sacks. So I would possibly look at Bradley Chubb, Draymond Jones from the Baltimore Ravens. He's a free agent. He's pretty respectable, but I would go Bradley Chubb before him. As far as defensive tackles, I know that you all have been down on Grady Jarrett. I mean, not down on him, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Bring the pressure that he thought he was going to bring him, and then Javon Dexter hasn't taken that next step either. So I was looking at DJ Reader from Detroit. Now, DJ Reader is still a pretty good defensive tackle. He always, gets pressure up the middle. I think Ben Johnson and the other guys from Detroit that came over will keep an eye on him and at least place a call. And also, wild card for me would be Cam Jordan. I mean, Cam Jordan's 35 years old. I understand his age, but he had 10.5 sacks last year. So Cam Jordan is still really productive. And Dennis Allen's familiarity with him down with the Saints, I wonder would DA be willing to place a call and how much Cam Jordan will want because he's been a lifelong Saint. I understand that. But, I mean, I wonder would he be willing to come to a winning situation possibly and rejoin Dennis Allen here in Chicago. But, man, let me know how y'all think about the names that I just got out there, man. Chicago up, better.
Chubb is one that a lot of Bears fans are talking about, right? And I do think he is somebody that could be a more realistic signing than like Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson and stuff like that. And I wouldn't be mad if that's what the Bears do. But I think overall, I just want to see the Bears attack the offseason and attack it in a way that they come out of it, that things make sense, right? That things make sense. Like nobody had us trading for Jonah Jackson last year. Drew Damier was one of the biggest free agents. Well, he was the best free agent center available. We got him. That's great. People didn't expect that. They didn't expect for us to trade for Joe Thuney. I just want them to make the right moves. And regardless of how it's viewed when it's done, by the end of next season, I want us to look back at those moves and feel like we did about last season's moves, that they made sense, They were functional. We understand why they did them, and it helped put the Bears in a much better situation and scenario going forward. That's all that they need to do here. So, the Bears have a number of things that they can do at their disposal between restructuring, cap cuts, whatever it is, signing players. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a fundamental thing between a mix of the draft, a mix of free agency. That's always how that's going to be done. We also got to figure out something with Aji Shapiro missing a large part of next season as well. So we got some things that we need to figure out as a team. And for once, I'm going to trust Ryan Poles to do that. And let's see how he comes out on the other side of that, what he can get done, and we'll see where we sit with that. All right, let's get into this last one, man. This one is from Darius.
What's going on, guys? Darius from Dallas, man. Just wanted to call in and because I saw that the Chiefs had restructured Mahomes' contract, and looking at how much they ended up, freeing up with just that one guy. So I think it's got to be a situation where he's either going to have to do some major restructuring with a lot of different guys, or it's going to be a situation where, some motherfuckers going to have to get cut. And I don't know what it is with our fan base with this over infatuation with guys, and I don't get it, man. I look at it like it's just business. I mean, we got people that, just from looking around on, different Bears fan pages and stuff that I follow, and everybody's all, don't let DJ can't go. And okay, well, what did DJ do that was so irreplaceable, man? You gonna tell me that we're gonna pay $28 million to block? I just, y'all acting like he went for 1,200 yards, which if he did, I'd be all for. Hey, we got to keep DJ. And I think we're coming to a reality to where, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Poles is gonna be that aggressive. I'm preparing myself for a passive off season where he just says, all right, we're going to restructure a few guys. He'll bring in a couple of guys for depth. And I think he's just going to try to get something in the draft and run it back. That's just the feeling that I'm getting. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I feel like the Maxx Crosby thing makes a lot of sense. We could even free up some stuff for Trey Hendrickson. I don't know, but I just feel like it's not realistic to think that a GM is going to be ultra aggressive 2 off seasons in a row. I just don't think that that's going to happen. We can talk to her blue in the face about all the different, trade scenarios and stuff, but I think at least I'm coming to terms with the idea that, man, we might just have to just do this thing through the draft, and we might be able to get a couple free agents, but there ain't going to be no top dollar guys like what we're thinking. It's going to be guys that get brought in for just depth, I think. And I think we need to, as Bears fans, prepare ourselves for that reality, because you're asking the GM to go all in and go hard on the roster and the salary cap 2 years in a row back to back. I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think you have to be aggressive one year, then build through the draft for a little bit, then maybe be aggressive again about, another two seasons. Maybe you could take another big leap, but I don't know, man. But I say prepare for the worst on this one. Texas up, bear down.
Yeah, I agree with you there, right? And I think there's some of that with every fan base, is that you have people that are like, oh my God, let's get rid of DJ Moore by any cost because we need to get an edge. Let's just cut him if we can sign an edge. Do you have your people that are the other end of the spectrum? We can't trade DJ Moore. We can't let him go. The reality is somewhere in the middle. You may have to let him go to get what you need, and if you do, cool. And the Bears wide receiver core can be in a perfectly good spot without DJ Moore, but they still do need to get a good slot in there then if that's the case, and get another guy that can balance it out. These people like to talk in these absolutes, and it's very rarely absolute in sports, and that's just the reality of it. But fans are going to fan. That's what they're going to do. That's what we here are. And at the end of the day, like, the Bears could very well, as you say, have a more functional, realistic offseason this offseason, and that's perfectly fine. And if they do that, great. Like, as long as the team takes a step forward, as long as the team is improving, as long as you bring in guys that can help us get to the next spot of where we need to go to and improve as a team, as well as with our own internal development, as long as those things happen, then we're right where we need to be. We're right where we need to be if that's the case. And that's it. I get it. We're fans. It is what it is. We get excited. We get down. We get low. We get high. All those things, that's going to happen. It's part of fandom. It's right in the name. It's going to happen. It's never going to stop. But when it's all said and done, improve the team. And how you improve that team, it may not be the flashiest, and it doesn't always need to be the flashiest, but it needs to be functional. And as long as they do that, I'll be happy with it. And as long as the Bears end up winning, most Bears fans are going to be happy with it, even if they do whine, bitch, moan, and complain. So there you go there. But this is, again, as I keep telling you guys, this is what transitioning to contender status looks like. It's not always the big, flashy moves. It's the small cap moves. It's the front office promotions. It's those type of things that goes into that. It's not always about being splashy, but it's about being correct in the way that you maneuver. And that's what the Chicago Bears have to do. But let me know your thoughts down below on all this. Who's the next cap casualty for the Chicago Bears? Do you believe the Bears are really going to leave Illinois? Let me know what you guys think on that down below. You can follow us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.